We want to end this chapter by talking about the excitation table again. Here, the goal is to describe the differences between a D flip-flop solution and a JK flip-flop solution. So we're going to start with the same transition table. And here you see just a direct copy of it, replacing the next Q with the D's. And you can see the Carnot maps for the D flip-flop solution. These would be D1, D2, D3. And you can see that the implicants, there's a lot more implicants and the equations are more complicated. The JK solution, going from the transition table to the excitation table, is a lot more challenging. So here we have a 0 to 0 transition. So we end up with a pair, J1, K1. Then we have a 0 to 0 transition, so we end up with a pair, J2, K2. So what ends up happening is we end up with a lot more work here making this excitation table. Well, we end up with a lot of don't cares, and what that does is it makes the circuit much easier. We can see that here in the Carnot maps. Yes, there's more Carnot maps, but look, they're filled with all these don't cares. So the equations become much simpler. Here we have just K1 is a 1, it's a constant at a 1. Here J3 is just an X. So when we begin looking at the circuits, you can see that we are having the same number of flip-flops. There's still 3 flip-flops. But if we look at the gates involved, they're much simpler. So finally, we end this talking about the unused states. These unused states right here could pose a problem if we leave them as don't cares, as we did here for the JK. We didn't even talk about the unused states. So when we build the circuit, these are just filled with don't cares. These unused states are all don't cares. Don't care about any of this stuff right here. But when we want to make sure that we are planning what happens with them, then we have to make a much more complicated circuit. This, of course, is the D solution. These would be replaced by D1, D2, D3. So if you want to see 2 problems worked from the word problem all the way down to a circuit, click right here on example 1 or search for example 7-1 inside of Google Drive. And you'll see a presentation about each of these. So I wanted to end with talking about the bigger picture. This course and this particular chapter are just the tip of a huge iceberg, and it's constantly evolving and changing. You're just learning enough to have the language to have a discussion about it. You're going to be learning tons of stuff once you get a job, even in this world. So don't sweat the details. Just focus on the process. Focus on your frustration. Focus on organizing yourself to get this kind of work done. You're basically proving to other people that you can pay attention to this level of detail. Good luck.